3 more minutes or so to allow others who signed up to join us. And then we're going to go ahead and get started with the CSU Application Overview. This is our 11th workshop doing our CSU Application Overview and our final one. To allow others who signed up to join us. And then we're going to go ahead and get started with the CSU Application Overview. This is our 11th workshop doing our CSU. Can you guys hear that? Overview and our final one.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me try to figure this out. Can you guys hear that? Let me see. I put it on YouTube. Let me see how I can like. Hold on, let me try to figure this out. How did I do it last time? That's it, but still. Okay, it's still like, okay, it took it off. It's still on YouTube. So I'm trying to be a little bit more tech savvy, and I put it on YouTube in hopes that we can keep it on YouTube and other people can watch it. So I'm going to again wait about 3 more minutes. Thank you for joining us. Good morning. My name is Lorena Ochoa, and I'm going to be going over the CSU application overall. And it is a small group of us, so feel free to ask questions. I'll stop in between times to, ask you guys if you guys have any questions and maybe more complex areas. Otherwise, if you don't feel comfortable asking in terms of in your voice, feel free to use a chat and we'll go from there. So again, 2 more minutes and then we'll go ahead and get started. So thank you for joining us. Good morning.
You guys can still hear me? Give me a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, so 1 more minute. And then as people come in, I'm going to go ahead and in the chat, put the website, type in the website for the application, which is calstate.edu/apply. And that's the website that we're going to be reviewing the application on. So I actually go over a real life application. It's a mock application, but so if you already have an application, you're more than welcome to follow along. Again, if you want me to slow down or repeat something, I'd be more than happy to do that. As you guys may or maybe don't know, the Cal State application, the deadline originally is to be tomorrow. However, due to COVID-19, they've made an extension. So they've extended the deadline for the Cal State to December 15th. However, they don't encourage you to wait. We encourage you to just submit it as soon as possible. One, because you're going to have finals in about a week and a half. So I would just say, get it out of the way and get one thing checked off your to-do list. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Again, good morning. Before I actually go over the application, I want to just ask you some questions to make sure you are prepared. The answers to these questions should be yes at this stage in the game. Feel free to use your thumbs up. Feel free to use the chat and put yes, because again, the answer should be yes. So my first question before I start the application is going to be, will everyone here have 60 transferable units completed, 60 transferable units or more completed by June 2021? If I can see some thumbs up, yeses. Yes, okay, thank you. Everybody else? Yes, 60 transferable units. At Victor Valley College, a transferable unit is numbered 100 or higher, 100 or higher. So that's a transferable unit. Okay, so again, you will need to have 60 transferable units done. At this time, does everybody should have above a 2.0. So thumbs up, everybody has above a 2.0. Perfect. Yeah, the higher the better, especially for impacted universities and impacted majors such as nursing, social work, engineering, Give me 1 second. Oh, engineering, some business programs. So keep that in mind. And also, because VBC, our only feeder campus is Cal State San Bernardino, because that's the closest. The other schools, the other Cal States like Fullerton, Long Beach, some other schools hike up, impacted campuses hike up the GPA requirements. So for example, for some Cal States, even if you're not an engineering major, maybe you're a psych major, the GPA requirement might be a 3.4. So my point in sharing this is the grades that you get this semester are just as important. The grades that you get are just as just critical for the fall, winter, and spring. And yeah, and like somebody said, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, some of the requirements are a 3.8. So again, the higher the GPA, the better. And so I tell students no VBC-itis, basically like no senior-itis, to make sure, because again, you're not gonna, so one thing that I do wanna tell you right now is don't submit, besides submitting your application, don't submit any transcripts. Only submit documents and paperwork until the Cal State requests it, whether via email or your to-do list in your academic portal, or your web advisor version of that Cal State. So only submit transcripts or any documents until they request them. Right now, your main responsibility is to submit the application. But in January, you're gonna go back into your Cal State application because you're gonna put your classes for this fall, winter, spring, but for the fall, we don't have all the grades yet. So in January, you're gonna get an email, they're gonna say, go back into your Cal State application and update your fall grades or add in your fall grades. So make sure you do that. And usually the deadline is January 31st. So that's why I say fall is key, because that's how because that can help raise your GPA or maybe keep it the same and sometimes lower it. So you wanna have it as high as possible. All right. With that being said, everybody has been using or is familiar with assist.org. Assist.org is a website that tells you your major specific classes you should be able to be taking for major specific coursework. Yes? Or everybody's familiar with assist.org? Thumbs up? Yes? Okay, so thank you. So assist.org is assist.org is a website that tells you what major prep you should be taking in order to best prepare for your Cal State and major prep only at the lower division level. So at a community college, you're only a freshman and a sophomore. Okay, and lastly, so these are 4 questions in one. Everybody here, the Golden 4, you guys may have heard of the Golden 4, hopefully at this stage in the game you have. Has everybody here, this one, do give me a thumbs up because this is an important one. You can have a 4.0 GPA and not have your Golden 4 completed by June and they'll deny your application. So make sure. English 101, has everybody completed or will be completing English 101 before June 2021? Thumbs up, yes?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, thank you. Everybody else? So English 101 must be done or should be done by June. What about critical thinking, like English 104, philosophy 207, communications 104? Everybody has done it or will be doing it by spring? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So the answer, yeah, all these answers should be yes. They're kind of like there's 100% should be yes. The third one, math. Everybody has completed or will be completed a college level math 100, 104, 105, 120, 132. Yeah, okay, very well. Or even Psych 215. Math 226, calculus, perfect, thank you. And the final one, communications. So everybody here has completed communications or will be completing communications, like 106, interpersonal, family, 107, 108, group, or 109? Yes, okay, perfect. So again, those are our Golden 4 courses. They will be on your application, but you do have to input that as well, or sometimes it's automatically populated. But those are some of the primary questions I wanted to ask you to make sure that you guys are ready. So based off the thumbs up, it sounds like you guys are ready to go. One question, have you guys started the application? Yes, or have you guys started the application? Yeah, okay. So again, the application deadline was extended to December 15th. However, we all encourage you to complete it before December 4th, if you can. We will have application sessions today, this afternoon from 2 to 6 p.m. And then we'll have, because originally the deadline just got extended on Tuesday. So we will have application sessions today from 2 to 6 if you want us to look at your application one-on-one. and tomorrow from 9 to 12 and 3 to 6 p.m. Okay, so again, feel free to pop in, sign in, and we'll be able to help you on an individual basis. So let me go ahead and get started. Okay, so we'll go ahead and talk about the financial aid component on the application as well. So hopefully this will answer, there we go, your questions. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put again in the chat the Cal State website. If you don't have it at this point, you probably all know it by heart, which is perfect. All right, here we have the Cal State application. Okay, how can I also apply for 2 seats? Okay, cool. I'll address that. So I'll address the financial and parental part and how you can apply for more than 2 Cal States. So you can apply for more than 2 Cal States on this same application, which is nice. Let me put my little annotation. All right, so you're gonna go to the Cal State website. We're gonna scroll down here, select a term. The term is for fall 2021. The email, you're gonna create an account if you don't have one. If you do have one, hopefully it's an email you're gonna be checking consistently, constantly, because you're gonna get emails often. And make sure to always go to your junk mail and your spam mail as well, because some original emails may go there to begin with. Okay, so when you first create an account or you go here, anything with the red asterisk to the left, you know you have to input. If it doesn't have a red asterisk, it's not necessary unless you want to input it yourself. So again, you're gonna put your first name, last name, an email you're gonna check often. It's not gonna be deleted or erased or at any moment. So something that's you're confident that's gonna stay. So usually Gmail, if you have an email account that you use for a lot of like your, especially right now, a lot of your cells, a lot of junk mail, so to speak. And if you want to create one that's just academic, I encourage you to do that. Text, if you want to get text, you click on that. And again, you create a username and you create a password to log in. It's going to ask you the question, are you currently located in a European Union country? European Union countries like France, Germany, Spain, Portugal. So those are some European Union countries. Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway. If you're in one of those, you're going to put yes. If you're not, most of us are still in California, we're going to put no, we can't even really travel. So go ahead and click on that. And then it's going to take you to the extended profile. Okay. So everybody here, I'm going to assume, is going for their first bachelor's degree. So you're going to click on that. We're going to click on here. This is where you want to know if you're getting an associate degree for transfer. At Victor Valley College, we only have 16 associate degrees for transfers. So if you see your major here, you're going to click on, I'm getting an ADT, you're going to find VVC. Oops, that's the wrong college. And you're going to find psychology. For the purposes of this example, I'm going to put psychology. One thing that I have noticed that is a common error that our students make, and it's because it's confusing actually. If you're getting a math and science degree, so an AS in math and science degree, some students put that they're taking mathematics, which is a completely different degree. So mathematics requires calculus 1, 2, and 3, differential equations, and linear algebra. So unless you're getting the Associate of Science for Transfer in Mathematics, click on that. But if you're getting the math and science, which is unique, a local degree to VVC, please don't put mathematics. Just click that you're transferring from a community college. Okay, so if you're not getting an ADT, you're going to put that you're transferring from a community college or four-year institution, and you're going to be transferring, as we talked about earlier, with 60 or more transferable units. So you're going to click on greater than or 60, again, equivalent to a junior. If you click on the first one, you're going to be limited in your options. So again, if you're not getting an ADT, but let's say you're getting an associate's degree in liberal arts or fine arts, you're going to click on this last one and greater than 60. But if you are getting an ADT, again, for purposes of this, I'm going to put that I am, and my major is psychology. It's going to ask me if I have a second ADT, yes or no. I don't have a second ADT. Am I a returning student to a Cal State or the one I went to before? You're going to put yes or no. In this case, I didn't go to a Cal State before. Military, it's going to ask you if you've been in the military or are currently serving. So you answer this to the best of your ability. Okay, so in this case, I did not serve in the military. This question, this is if I'm an international student. I'm not an international student. So be mindful that the no is on the left. So you'll notice in this page, There's a yes or no here, but the yes is on the left and the no is on the right. There's a yes or no question. The yes is up top, the no is at the bottom. International applicant, the no is on the left and the yes is on the right. So a lot of students have accidentally put yes on the right because, let's undo, just because they get a little confused. So in this case, I'm not an international student. But if you are, go ahead and click on yes. You are a California resident, whether you're an AB 540 student, a dreamer, U.S. citizen, legal permanent resident, please put that you're a California resident, unless you are not, unless you're living in another state. Because if you put another state, they're going to charge you out-of-state fees. Out-of-state tuition right now for Cal States, it can range from $7,500 to about $9,500, depends on the Cal State per year. For out-of-state residents, it's about $24,000-25,000 for that same year. Okay, so it's about 3 times the amount. So that's why you want to be careful on answering this question. So I'm going to move forward, but as I do, any questions? Okay, so I'm going to move forward. Give me like a thumbs up, or feel free to put it in the chat if you have questions. Now, my major is psychology. Okay, so I'm going to type in psychology, or whatever major you may be. You may be criminal justice, right? I'll just put criminal justice. So this is to answer one of the questions that a student asked in the chat. You can always go to add program and add a second school. Okay, so I'm going to go back to psychology actually. So in this case, I clicked off, I want to apply to Dominguez Hills. If I don't, I can just put delete, all right? But if I'm like, oh, I changed my mind, you click on the plus sign. If I want to apply to multiple schools. I want to apply to Cal State Long Beach. It's okay if my 80s, oh, yes, continue. I changed my major. I want to apply to, where else did I apply to? San Bernardino, San Diego. Okay, so again, you can click on multiple programs. But again, if you've already clicked on this and you want to go back, I'll show you that as well to add a second program. So you can add multiple programs by clicking on the plus sign. You can unclick it by clicking on the check mark if you don't want to apply there after all. So I clicked on the 4 schools, and the cool thing is it tells me what schools offer, what Cal States offer the psychology program. Okay, so again, always make sure that it says here available programs. So I clicked on my 4 programs. I'm going to go to my application. Okay, so now this is a pre-populated application. So the one thing I will tell you is in order for you to submit this application, all the circles must be green. So you'll notice that here, there's a circle that's not green, but we'll go through that in a moment. So going back to the question that the student asked, how can I add a program? So I'm in this page, I go to add program, I type in my major, and then I find, and it'll take me, and then I add it. So let's say I want to go to Bakersfield. Here we are, and I'm going to go back to my application. So hopefully that answers your question on how you add a second program for the same Cal State. Okay, so now, but let me know if you have questions. Let's see. Okay, you're welcome. Personal information, release statement. This basically states, you can read it, and it basically states that what you're inputting is honest and truthful and to the best of your knowledge, because there's going to be some questions about dates that you might be, I'm not really 100% sure, but I'm going to give the best guesstimate of when I did this or when I completed, a certain requirement. So again, make sure to check it off. Again, anything with the red asterisk must be completed. Release of contact information, if you want to release information to Cal State campuses and or release information to counselors or counseling offices. That's completely up to you. I have them checked off, but if I want them to, sure, why not? Okay, so again, check off the one that you must check off. They have to be honest. Academic integrity is the first one. The other 2 is up to you. And then you save and continue. Continue to the next section. Biographic information, it's already pre-populated my first name, my last name. If you used any alternative or alternate names, go ahead and put yes, and then include the alternate name. In this case, I didn't have any alternate names, so I put no. It's going to ask you about your legal sex. What is your legal sex? Again, these don't have an asterisk, so if you don't want to answer them, you don't have to, but what is your legal sex? I'm a female. How do I consider myself? It's going to give you if you're part of the LGBTQ community, or if you don't want to, you're not sure, or you want to decline to state, that's fine, or another orientation. So again, that's completely up to you. In this case, I'm putting heterosexual or straight. How do you describe yourself? I identify as a woman. Again, whichever one of these you identify with, or if you don't, you can decline to state. And I consider myself gender conforming. And again, if you could identify as something, another category, then you're more than welcome to put it. But in this case, I'm gender conforming. Birth date, you guys know that for a fact, with the city you were born in, and then the state and the county. So make sure you know the county where you were born. Last, these questions have to do with if you were in foster care in the past, if you were an emancipated minor, a homeless youth, if you were in any transitional housing, if you were in any homeless youth basic centers. So make sure to answer this if you'd like to, especially if you were a foster youth or if you have been homeless, because there may be additional resources or services that the Cal State may be able to help you with. Again, if you don't want to answer them, there's no asterisk next to them, so you don't have to answer them. So I'll leave that up to your discretion. Save and continue. Go to next section. Contact information, your address, city, state, county, zip code. It asks here approximately up to when do you think this address is valid? You can leave it blank because you may move, you may not move. So if you're not sure how long you may live there for, or if you're going to live there indefinitely, I would just leave it blank. It's not going to hinder in a negative way your application. Is this your permanent address? For now, you can put yes, unless you're planning to move or you have another residence. You can, click on no, and then you're going to have to put your other permanent residence. At the end of the day, later on, if you end up moving somewhere else, you can always contact the Cal State and update your application once you submit this application, because once you submit this application, you won't be able to make any changes until January. Okay, so once you submit it, if you submit it today and you're like, oh my God, I messed something up, you actually have to call the Cal State. Okay, so again, is this your permanent address? Yes, my phone number is already pre-populated. My email's pre-populated as well. So this is a pretty simple page. Citizenship and residency. Okay, so in this case, you identify as a U.S. citizen, permanent resident, refugee, or other visa. If you are a dreamer or an AB 540 student or an undocumented student, you're going to click on none. Okay, so again, you can be a U.S. citizen, you can be a permanent resident. It's going to ask you for your country of citizenship and when you got your green card or residency card. In this case, I'm going to say I'm a dreamer. And my country of citizenship is, let's say it is Guatemala, okay? So, and then if you were born outside of the US, what year did you or will you move to the US? So let's say I moved in 2000, give or take. Again, the best honest answer, I may have been a baby when I came to the United States. So I don't know exactly maybe all the details, but what I think I know, the best answer that I may have is 2000. Again, if you don't want to answer it, doesn't have an asterisk, you don't have to. California is my residence. Do I claim California residency? Yes, you do. I had a student yesterday or the day before, and she put no. The student was a dreamer. So she's like, well, I'm from this other country. But because you are living in California, you still, even if you may be undocumented or a dreamer, it doesn't matter. You're still a California resident, because if you don't click on that, then you won't be considered for the fee waiver, for the application fee waiver. So make sure to put yes. This is for everybody. You claim California residency. Have you lived in California continuously since birth? In this case, no, because I'm from another country. And I put approximately, give or take, more or less, when I believe I came. Okay, when I believe I came to the United States or to California, actually. Okay, so any questions on the citizenship residency component? Again, if you don't feel comfortable sharing it out loud, you're more than welcome to chat me privately, or I will stay here for a few minutes afterwards, so you're welcome to ask me. All right, so we're gonna move forward. All right, so with regard to your ethnicity, do you consider yourself Hispanic or Latino? You're gonna put yes, no, or state to decline. In this case, I did say I'm from Guatemala, so then I'm gonna look for Guatemala. Okay, if you identify as another Latino, you're going to find it here. If you don't, you go ahead and input it, the other Hispanic or Latin culture or other Central American. Okay, now it's going to ask you for the race that you identify as. American Indian or Alaskan. So any of these, Asian, Black, African American, Pacific Islander, Native Hawaiian, white, declined to state, or none of the above. For the Latino culture, the Latinx community, usually the race is under the white race. However, if you don't identify as that, you can put none of the above or decline to state. So again, it's really up to you what you put. Summary. California state often needs to report only one summary race ethnicity. So which one do you identify as? So again, click on the one that you identify as. If you are two or more cultures or races or ethnicities, you can click on that or decline to state. Okay, but in this case, I'll just put I'm Hispanic, Latina. Save and continue. Other information. So it's going to ask me about my social. Okay, so if I do have a social security number, I'm going to go ahead and type it in here. If I do not have a social security number, you're going to type in here. Most of our Dreamers, our AB 540 students do not. So you're going to acknowledge that you do not have a social security number. This number is where a lot of our students get stuck in. If you went to a public California high school, you get a statewide student ID. It's on your high school transcript. So if you don't have it, or if you don't have your high school transcripts, even unofficials, it's usually on the I've seen them on the top left corner of your transcript or the bottom left, any of the corners. So look at the corners. If you don't have it though, or if you went to a school outside of California, then don't worry about it. Don't put it on there. It's not going to be a negative impact if you do not have it. It's not going to be a negative impact on your application if you don't have it or can't find it, or maybe it's going to be hard to get your high school transcripts. So yeah, so again, it's either on the top left-hand corner, bottom left-hand corner. It depends on the high school you went to, because I've seen them in different places, but it's a 10-digit number. Again, if you can't find it, because I know time is of the essence right now, please don't stress, just go ahead and leave it blank. It doesn't have an asterisk. But again, it should be on one of those corners, usually by your address or by your picture. There's usually a picture on transcripts. So it's in one of those corners. But again, you can leave it blank if you don't have it. I don't think I have one, maybe because I'm older, but so again, some of us may not have it, and we may not have access to going back to our high school. Or if you went to adult school, you may not have one either. So again, ignore it. Ignore it if you don't have it. Language proficiency, what is your first language? English. Some of you guys maybe have been Arabic, another language that you see here. So they have hundreds and hundreds of languages. So make sure to put that. My additional language is Spanish, and I know it intermediate. Military status, it's already pre-populated. It's going to ask you if you're a military dependent. So were your parents, were they veterans, or are they still on active duty, or on the reserves, etc. So in this case, my parents were not. This is an important part. So when you input when you input the coursework in your transcripts, you're going to add every single class, transferable, non-transferable. So if you took English 81, Math 80, and Math 90, any of those you have to include in there. So my point in saying that's because it's asking about academic standing. So there's no really room to, again, you want to be as honest as possible. Are you in good standing with your last school attended? Good standing is if you have a 2.0 or higher, you've never been, you're not on academic probation, on academic disqualification, any of that. So in this case, most of you, based off of your raising of hands, are in good standing. However, if in the past you were on academic probation is if you were ever fell below a 2.0. So did you ever fall below a 2.0? You're going to put yes or no. Have you ever been disqualified? That means that the school said, you know what, you've been on academic probation, you need to take a break. You were disqualified or told to sit out for a semester. You put yes or no. Have you ever been disciplined for any student conduct violations? Yes or no. Okay, so in this case, let me say I was not disqualified. So then it's going to ask you, well, provide a short, you can provide a longer explanation. I just provided a short, brief explanation. During my first semester at BBC, I fell below a 2.0 due to my family circumstances and hardships. However, in the spring, actually, let me change that. In the fall semester of 2018, I raised my GPA. Okay, so just a short blurb, something that shows what happened, but how did you get out of it? Because at this point, you guys are all out of academic probation, okay? If you ever were on it. What about? Yes, you can put that. So if you did have, if you were on academic probation at another college, you will put that because you're going to put all the colleges and universities that you attended on your application as well. So you will include that you were on academic probation and you had a bad GPA from 10 years ago, and provide the explanation what happened 10 years ago. So a lot of students, come to school in the beginning when they're young and, maybe don't do so hot, and then they take a break, they come back. And I hear these situations, these testimonials all the time. So it happens, but you come back 10 years later, you come back 5 years later, and you're more mature, life has happened, you're ready to, begin a new career, a new journey in your life, and sometimes people do so much better than when we're 17, 18. Okay, so it all depends. However, so go ahead and state what happened when you were on academic probation 10 years ago, and just explain also that how you got out of it, that you're no longer in that situation. So because they will see it anyways on the application. So yes, you're gonna state what was the reasoning behind the academic probation, why you were on academic probation. Okay, but again, they want to see an upward trend. So if you're doing a lot better, don't feel like that's going to be a super negative thing. They just want to know what happened. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question, but let me know if you have other questions. Teaching credential. If you're interested in a teaching credential, you can put you're not interested. That means you don't want to be a teacher. If later on in your life, you decide, I do want to be a teacher. Like, for example, my brother, he was a sociology major, and later on in his life, he decided to be a teacher. So he's a teacher now. So again, whether you're not interested or not, that's fine. You can always be a teacher in the future. But if you know now that you're planning to apply to a credential program at a later time, you could. So if you are going to be elementary school, high school, so what's the difference? Education specialist is for teachers who want to work with students with special needs, special education students. Multiple subject credential is an elementary school teacher, because in elementary school, our teacher teaches us history, math, science, English, etc. Single subject credential is high school teacher for the most part, usually junior high, high school, because you're teaching one subject. So you have your one history teacher, you're that English teacher, or, your science teacher, or your favorite science teacher, or your math teacher. So again, you can put that. You can add the one that you're going to do. And that's so they know who's interested in being a teacher. But at this point, I'm not interested in being a teacher. CalFresh, this is completely up to you. CalFresh is assistance, public assistance to help you with groceries for money for food. So I personally always encourage students to say, you never know if there may be a rainy day in our lives. A lot of us are experiencing a rainy day right now. So I encourage you, it's only a benefit. If you don't want to, of course, this is at your discretion, your personal preference. You can put, no, I'm not interested in CalFresh, but if you are, go ahead and click on yes. California Promise, if you are getting an associate degree for transfer, go ahead and click on yes for the California Promise. If you're not getting it, you can go ahead and put no. So yes, if you're getting an associate degree for transfer. Do you have an RN license? Yes or no? Most of us here do not have an RN license, but if you do have an RN license, you're going to put your license number. How did you hear about us? How did you hear about us? Most of our students found out through a counselor advisor, but click on the one that, best applies to you. All right, so somebody had a question about the financial and parental info. All right, so this is, a lot of students ask me, well, how do I apply for the fee waiver? This is your application for the fee waiver. So there's no separate application. Okay, so you're gonna look at these questions and you're gonna determine if they apply to you. This is to determine if you're dependent or independent. If none of the above statements apply to you, you're dependent. So here you see dependent. However, if one of these statements apply to you, if you were born before January 1st, 98, we're in the military, we're married or are married, have children, we're in foster care, we're in an emergency shelter. So if you identify with any of these and can prove it, then you're gonna click on one of the above. So you'll notice here, if I put none of the above, I'm dependent. If I'm one or more of those apply, I'm independent. So let's look at the dependent first. So if I'm a dependent student, I'm going to put the people in my household, including yourself. So don't forget, you are also part of the household. I had a student the other day, she didn't put herself, and I'm like, no, you are part of the household. So make sure you include yourself as part of the household. You're going to put your parents' income. This is on their 2019 income taxes. So I'm going to use this opportunity to kind of put a plug in about FAFSA. Make sure to apply for financial aid. Make sure to apply, or the DREAM Act, as soon as possible. The deadline is March 2nd, which is 3 months away. However, just get it done. Just check off another thing from your to-do list. So from your 2019 parents' income taxes, you're going to put how much they made. Untaxed income, that's untaxed income can be if your parents got Social Security, disability, workers' comp, anything that was not taxed. Most of our income is taxed, so you're going to put 0. Please do not put, if your parents hypothetically made 60,000, do not put this number here. Do not put it there, because you're really going to eliminate your opportunity. Do not do that. You just put 0, because you can eliminate your opportunity from getting a fee waiver. Again, put the actual amount, and that's for dependent. Independent, it's going to ask you, what's your total size of your household? If you have a family, let's say you're a parent, 2 kids, a spouse, or maybe you're a single parent and 2 kids, you're going to put 3, right? Let's just say as an example. However, if you don't have any of the above, no kids, no spouse, then you're 1. You're a household of 1. So you would put 1. Number of dependent children, 0. Adjusted gross income. So this is your income from 2019, not your parents anymore, because you're independent. Okay, so this is your income. What do your income taxes say? So let's say I made, I don't know, just put 1999. Untaxed income, did you get any untaxed benefits? This does not include FAFSA. This does not include any scholarships. So please don't put any of that. This only includes like if you got disability, Social Security, workers' comp, etc. So if you didn't get any untaxed income, you're going to put 0. Okay. It does not include CalFresh either. So yeah, don't include any of those public, because that's money for like food. At least that's not my understanding. Okay. CalFresh is kind of like a FAFSA. So that's my understanding. So I would not include money that you got for CalFresh. Okay, so I would still put 0. So any questions on this part? Okay. Campus housing. And again, if you feel comfortable, feel free to let me know in the chat. Campus housing, if you plan to live outside of, if you plan to move away, you're more than welcome to put yes. If you're unsure, I always tell students, go ahead and put yes, because again, just because you say you're interested doesn't mean that you're going to move. It's just saying you may be interested. But if you know for certain, I had a student answer, she said, absolutely not. Okay, then just go ahead and put no. But if you're unsure because we don't know where life will take us later, go ahead and put yes. You're not obligated to move anywhere. All right, so then parent educational level. I chose my dad to be parent number 1 and my mom to be parent number 2. So he had some high school. My mom is a 2-year college graduate. However, if you only have 1 parent, you can put does not apply, or we can put my mom there, my dad. Sorry, guys. Let me log out of that. Okay. Now, let me go back to where I was showing you guys the Cal State Apply. Okay, you guys can see my Cal State Apply? Yeah, okay. All right, so again, if it doesn't apply, put does not apply. Again, some of us may have 1 parent, so put whatever is the most honest answer. So let's go ahead and save and continue. Any questions on this critical part about the financial and parental information? All right, so I'll be happy to come back to it if you guys have any questions. Now, I'm not going to go clockwise. I'm going to go and cover these 2 first, and then we're going to cover the important, well, it's all important, but the coursework information. So I'm going to go to supporting information, associate degree for transfer. So remember, I'm getting the ADT. So it already if you didn't click that you're getting the ADT, you're not going to get this question or this section. But Victor Valley College, it's already populated psychology. Here's where I'm going to put my VBC ID number, okay? So here, this California Community College ID number, that's another ID number you have. That one is found on your CCC Apply account. So when you first apply to a community college or VBC, you apply through CCC Apply. If you want to go back into that, you can grab that number. If not, again, don't stress it. I wouldn't stress it. It doesn't even have the asterisk next to it. So don't worry about it. It won't affect you in a negative way. So when do you plan to graduate? Remember, another plug that I'll put in, if you haven't applied for your associate's degree application, make sure to do so as soon as possible. You do have until February to submit your application to admissions, But again, just another thing to get off your to-do list and check it off. But if you are getting a degree, June 12th is our graduation day, whether it's virtual or in person. That's our graduation day. So that's the day. So that's actually what, 6 months from now. So it's not far away. So June 12th, 2021. Okay. And then we're going to save and continue. Go to next section. EOP. Is anybody here applying to EOP? Anybody here applying to EOP? Yes? No? I'll briefly mention it, hopefully, because I'm going to put in a plug for it too. If you consider yourself low income, first generation, or historically disadvantaged, I would encourage you to apply for Education Opportunity Program. This application does require about 30 to 45 more minutes of your time. In my opinion, personal and professional, it's worth it because EOP helps you with tutoring, counseling, mentorship, and potentially an EOP grant, money, financial aid, and potentially early registration. And you have your own specific, it's more of a community. It's more of a community than just being like with different counselors. So again, it's and it's there to support you, to help you, achieve that goal. So if you are interested in, even if you're not in EOPS now, you don't have to be in an EOPS program at your community college. I was not, but I still applied for EOPS. But if you are part of the EOPS program at BBC, go ahead and put that you are. In this case, I'm not. And I'm going to put in another plug. The EOPS program is actually taking applications at BBC right now. So if you're taking 9 units now and 9 units in the spring at least, you can apply for the EOPS program and they'll give you a $300 book voucher for the fall, even though the fall's pretty much over. Excuse me. And they'll give you a $300 book voucher for the spring. So if you are interested in EOPS, send me a message and I'll give you the link. Otherwise, I can put the link for everybody. But again, in my opinion, anything that's going to help you in a positive way is well worth spending the 45 minutes, maybe an hour tops. And so now it's asking me, so I'm going to go over this briefly. If I want to apply, yes or no. Some students may say, no, I don't want to apply. Okay, no problem. In this case, I do want to apply. Okay, so it's going to ask you yes or no questions. You see the asterisk. This is more in high school. So in the Puente project, I was in it for 2 years. Answer these questions. Information about my family. Information about my languages. Information if I ever received cash aid, food stamps, TANF, welfare, etc. In high school, I did receive free and reduced school lunch. I did apply for it and I qualified. So I'm going to put that there. It asked me if do I help with any of the household expenses? Yes, I do. And I work to pay for household bills. And if you want to be specific, you can put the light bill, the gas bill, the water bill, or even the mortgage. Okay, so we have students who help with that. Save and continue. So again, I'll show you. Absolutely, yeah, great question. Is there any age cap? Absolutely not. No, we don't. You can be. I have a student who's starting Cal State San Bernardino in the spring, in a month, and she's 64. There's students who are in their 70s that can start. So there is definitely no age limitation for EOP, for any of these programs. You can be 18 or 75 or 80, and you can still apply. So yes, so please apply. Don't let age be a factor. Okay, so you are just as able and eligible and qualified to apply. Okay, so please apply. EOP, it's going to ask you questions about your parents, guardian, if you don't have a parent, guardian. So I put, my dad, none. My mom, her income, her profession. And then they ask you for parents' income. So you'll notice that in 2020, it's asking, well, how much did your parents make or you make? I put 50,000. It's asking me for 2021. We haven't gotten there yet, but I put a guesstimate as what I think my parents might make. So again, you put the best guesstimate, what you think. Sometimes some of your parents might make the same amount of money. Okay, and that's absolutely fine. You only have to put for one parent. It's going to ask you for the parent size, the household size, and are you independent of parental support? In this case, I'm not. My parents help me. My mom helps me. If you are independent, maybe you're married, maybe you're already a mature working adult, then you are independent. And then you're going to answer these questions about you. How many years have I lived apart from my parents? At this point, 22 years. What is your and your spouse's family house income? I'm just going to put 60,000 just for purposes of this. In 2021, I have no idea, but I'm going to put the best guesstimate because it's not there. Total size of my household, including our children, 5, and we have 3 kids. Okay, and again, reminder, don't forget to do your FAFSA and or your DREAM Act application. Okay, so again, save and continue. So this is why you see it takes a little bit longer. And then there's this section. There's this section. Let me edit the student. On the EOP application, there's this section that's going to ask you questions that you want to answer thoroughly. Again, if you stop halfway, it's not going to let you save it. So if you're like, I had a student the other day and she's like, I need a break. She said, I need a break. And she was in question number 3. And I said, okay, take a break, but you need to put something here because it won't let you save and continue. So if I even have one that's out, see, it turns off. So I can come back to it. I just put pending or whatever you want to put. And you save and continue and make sure to come back to it. Okay, so again, you're going to answer these questions. Save and continue. Final thing on the EOP part is EOP recommendations. You do need 2 electronic letters of recommendation. You don't need paper applications. You don't really need anything. What do you need though? You do need the person, the recommender's first name, their last name, their email address, and then it gives us a deadline automatically. And the message, you may say, thank you so much. Thank you so much for writing, this letter of recommendation for me. Okay, I appreciate it. Let me know if you have any questions. So again, there you need their first name, last name, email address. You need 2. Cal State San Bernardino actually only requires 1. So if you're only applying to Cal State San Bernardino, they only require 1. However, the other Cal States may require 2. And so make sure to have 2 people. A student asked me the other day, I'm going to ask my sister and I'm going to ask, I think her aunt. And I said, no, the letters of recommenders have to be a professor, a counselor, even a high school counselor that maybe you're still in touch with. It could be a supervisor, a pastor. So it has to be somebody that on a more paraprofessional level that's not related to you. Okay. So then I waive my right of access to this recommendation. That means that, yes, I don't want to see it. So yes, or if you want to see your recommendation, you put no. But if you want to see it, yes. Permission to contact the recommender, you have to click on yes and yes. Okay. So that's, and you want to have for Cal State San Bernardino, again, you only need 1. For other schools, you may need 2. So you do need 2 electronic letters of recommendation. Any questions on EOP? Any questions? All right, so I'll be here if you guys have any questions. Program materials, this is one of the final parts in this program materials part. So you'll notice all of these have a check mark, but I'm gonna see what's, so Cal State Dominguez Hill, Bakersfield doesn't require anything. San Diego University says doesn't require anything. Long Beach doesn't require anything. Dominguez Hills, San Bernardino does. So a lot of our students apply to San Bernardino. So let's go down because I had a student make this here. So again, it's saying, hey, you need to have a 2.5 and you're aware of that, right? I'm not a first-time freshman. So I'm going to click on this question does not apply. I'm a transfer student. So I'm not a first-time freshman. You guys are transfers. You guys will be juniors. You're an upper division transfer applicant. So yes, I meet the minimum GPA requirement. Let me see. Does it let me save it? It doesn't let me save it, which is fine. So I'm just going to play with it a little bit. And it should let me save it now. There we go. Save and continue. Okay, so saved it, but I want to see what does Cal State Dominguez Hills want? Let's see what the questions are. The question is, if admitted to Cal State Dominguez Hills, would you be interested in being contacted by our pre-health advisor? Because if you want to be a medical doctor, dentist, veterinarian, etc., I don't want to be any of those, so I'm going to put no. But if you do want to be a doctor or vet or dentist, you're going to put yes. In this case, I'm going to put no. And then I save it and continue on the top right. Save, yes. Close. I'm going to check in on this. So don't be scared to click on submit application. I'm not submitting it yet. But all my circles are green, and the reason why I know is because this final check mark, I made it to that finish line. So I'm going to check. Did I get the fee waiver? I don't know. Let's check. I did. Okay. So again, this depends on your personal income. So again, if you qualify for the fee waiver, you'll get this big blue pop out, and I get 4 out of 4 for free. If you apply to anything more than 4, you have to apply for it on your own, and it's $70 per application. It'll help tell you here if you qualify or if you don't. A message that I will send. If you did not qualify for the fee waiver and your income from 2019 to 2020 changed, a lot of people, as we know, have lost their jobs, are unemployed, maybe have lost hours, went from full-time to part-time, etc. If you did not qualify for the fee waiver and you want to still be considered, you have to contact each Cal state. So you have to do a little bit more for work on your end. So let's say you apply to all these schools and I didn't qualify for the fee waiver. I would have to contact Bakersfield, Long Beach, San Diego, and San Bernardino, the admissions department, to do an appeal. Okay, to do a fee waiver appeal. So you can do that, you just have to individually contact them. So just wanted to let you know that, because again, the 2019 income, your 2019 income might be, or your families or your parents might be different. So again, if you have any questions, let me know. All right, I'm gonna move on to the academic history, which is important, just as important as the others, but I think in my opinion, just a little bit more important. High schools attended. Okay, so at this stage in the game, let me take off a high school really quick. Delete the school. High schools attended. If you attended more than one high school, you're more than welcome to put it in. So I'm gonna say I went to a 3rd high school. I'm gonna put, I went to a high school in Victorville, California, and it's gonna pop up schools in Victorville, California. I think I had Silverado. We can choose, let me see. We can choose, I don't know these other ones, but let's go ahead and choose Silverado again. I went to Silverado from, I went to Silverado from maybe January 2018 to May 2018. Okay. Select the term. Silverado might be on a semester or trimester system. Either one, whichever one you put is fine, or a full year, as long as you put one of them. So I'm guessing it was on a semester system. I'm going to save it. So now I have all the 3 schools I went to, and I got my high school diploma. If you got your GED, you're going to put I have or will have a high school equivalency. It's going to ask you when you got it. You just put the May, the month, and the year. But I did get my high school diploma. I actually got it from Santa Fe High School. And then the date received, I got it in, well, in this case, we're going to pretend May 2018, because I got mine in a long time ago. Okay, so Santa Fe High School, May 2018, save and continue. Any questions about high school? Is this correct, May 2018? Yes, it is correct. Any questions about high school? So make sure you put when you attended. Let me show you really going back here. So here, again, this is a mock where I put the years that I went to. Academic information is going to ask me, did I attend high school or secondary school outside of the US? Yes or no. If you did attend high school, some of our students went to other high schools. I've had students come from high schools that they went to in Egypt, El Salvador, Mexico, Syria. So you put the point, what kind of point system or percentage? In the US, we use A, B, C, D, F. What was it in your country, in your original country? And then what was the degree or the diploma, if you got a diploma or a degree? In Latin America, some high schools call it bachillerato. I got my prepa or my, a título. In parts of Africa and parts of Europe, they call it A levels. So again, make sure to put whatever degree you got from that high school. Saving, but I didn't in this case, so save and continue. All right, colleges attended. So you can put here more than one college, okay? More than one college. So I'm gonna click on the pin. That's a trash bin, I'm not gonna throw it away. So a college is attended. So I went to Victor Valley College, so I typed it in. Okay, so it should pop up. There we go. Did I obtain or am I planning to get a degree? Yes, I am. Remember, do you guys remember what degree I'm getting? Psychology. Degree in progress, I don't have it yet. So I'm going to get the Associate of Art for transfer. This. So Associate of Arts. So make sure that this is pretty accurate. There's liberal arts, there's science, but I'm getting the Associate of Arts for transfer. I'm getting it this June. So this is when I'm graduating 6 months from now, June 2021. Okay. What is my major? You guys know psychology. That's psychobiology, so psychology. At Victor Valley College, we don't have minors, so you can put none or no answer. So community colleges, we don't have minors. What is a semester? The term at BDC, it's semester. When did I attend? I started when I was in high school. So some of you guys might have started in high school. So I started in spring. The spring is February 2018. Bear with me. 2018, and I'm still attending. So I'm still attending. So I started spring, February 2018. I'm still attending. I'm going to save it. And there it is. So make sure that if it's an Associate of Arts degree without transfer, you put Associate of Arts. If it's Associate of Science, you put Associate of Science. If it's Associate of Science or transfer, you put that too. Okay. Criminal justice would, the science one. Yeah, criminal justice is a science, but that's a good point that you bring up. You have to find out, are you getting the Associate of Science for transfer in administration of justice? Or are you getting the Associate of Science in criminal justice? So there's two separate degrees that BBC offers. We have the ADT, the transferable one, and the general, that one that BBC offers. So the one that's specific to BBC. So you want to find out, so it is an Associate of Science, but are you getting the Associate of Science for transfer in criminal justice and administration of justice, or Associate of Science in criminal justice? Would I be the transfer one if I'm on transfer? I'm going to guess it probably is the transfer one. So you can put the Associate of Science for transfer. That's what I'm going to guess, but you may want to double check by looking at your ed plan, or at the end of this session, you can give me your ID number and I can check, because I don't want to tell you yes, because I'm not 100% sure. Okay. For the dates attending at BBC, will we only put the dates that apply to the transfer degree, or all dates? Correct. So when you put the dates for your community college, you're going to put when you started and when you're finishing. So again, if you started in 2017, August 2017, you're going to put August 2017. And then you're going to put that you're still attending right here. Check if you're still attending, especially if you're going to attend next semester. If you're finishing this semester, then you're going to put that you're finishing, fall, December now, 2020. Okay, but if you're still going to be here in the winter and spring, just click on this part. But yes, as soon as you started, even if you were in high school, we have a lot of, in the High Desert, which is very cool, we have a lot of students who take concurrently or dual enrollment. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question. But let me know if you have other questions. All right, so I'm going to skip really quick over college coursework and general education. I'm going to go to standardized tests. All right, here we have, so if you did advanced placement, I'll go over that in a minute, but if you didn't do advanced placement, CLEP, IB, if you're like, what the heck is all this? Then you probably didn't do it. Okay, so you're just gonna click, I'm not adding any. Perfect. But let's say I did do advanced placement. Okay, let's say I did. A lot of our students, we've had a lot of students pass a lot of AP tests. One of the common ones that I see is like AP Spanish or AP English. So let's say I did AP Spanish. I'm gonna put AP Spanish Language and Culture. Have you already taken this exam? Yes, I did. It was a few years ago when I was in high school. See how it asked me for the month, day, and the year? I really don't know what day, but I'm gonna put the best guesstimate. I know I did it in May of 10th of 2018. Okay, the best guesstimate. It's not gonna be a negative if you don't know the exact date. And then you put the score: 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Okay, so let's say I got a 4. Okay. So I can save it and save at another test. I had a student the other day, he passed 3 AP exams. No, maybe 3 or 4. So he added all 4. Okay, but in this case, I only passed 1. Then you save it, or it should save. My computer might be getting a little bit slow. Okay, what if I did that in high school? Do I have to input those test scores? Yeah, definitely. If you did AP, the cool thing about advanced placement is if you pass the advanced placements with a 3, 4, or 5, you get college credit for it. Cal States take between 60 to 70 transferable units. So the cap is 70 transferable units. So absolutely, this is most of our students take AP only when they're in high school. They usually don't take it when they're in community college. At least I haven't met anybody. So if you did take AP tests, and especially if you pass them, definitely add them into this component of the application. And you're gonna have to add it in another component, which I'll show you in a few moments. Okay. It's not a must. It isn't a must. However, as I stated in the beginning of my session, you want to be as honest with your academic records as possible for academic integrity. So if you got a 1 or a 2 on your AP test, I would say it's not necessary because you're not going to get any units for it or any credit for it. But I would say if you did pass it for academic integrity, then I would encourage you to submit that, to incorporate that test, because that's part of your academic history. So again, you want to be as honest as possible, especially since you agreed on that part. All right, classes. So this is the important, or this is, all of it's important, but this is important as well. So I'm going to give you kind of scenarios, and these are going to be kind of fake scenarios, but it's just to help you understand. So here's a little pin. You'll notice this semester, again, this is just for example purposes, I put classes that are non-transferable, English 45, Anthro 102. So anything that is transferable or non-transferable, you have to manually input it. So some of you guys may have taken like Math 85, I think, and then you have to find the title. I know it's like co-requisite, something like co-requisite college algebra. Okay, my computer's a little bit slow. Okay, mathematics, it's 2 units. I got an A, and it's not transferable. So make sure that classes that are 100 or higher, they are checked off to the right. At a community college, you're only a freshman and a sophomore. So halfway, the first 30 units, you're a freshman. The second 30 units, so 1 through 30, freshman, 31 through 60 or more, sophomore. So in this case, I'm a freshman. I started spring 2018. It's completed. Okay, we'll go over the in progress in a moment. So again, you want to input a mirror image of your transcripts. Usually, let's see if it's not so. Usually, the classes that will populate are your transfer ones. So I took Psych 110. It already populated the subject. I'm sorry, the title, the subject I had to find on my own. The units populated, and the grade you have to input. If you took advanced placement, you have to put your advanced placement on here too. Again, the advanced placement you took, most of them you get 6 units for. So you put the advanced placement test, the title, it's test credit, no subject. 6 units, again, if you did take AP, you might want to stay after because I would have to tell you how many units you get for it. But most of them are 6. You get credit, you type in, so you can type in CR, tab over, it's going to say none, which is fine because it's not a grade. And you're going to click on check off transferable. Check off transferable. Okay. And then you input all the classes for spring. Once I've inputted the classes for that one semester, you're going to save it. And then it's going to go to the next semester. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example. So at Victor Valley College, we only have 1 summer session. So that's why we only put summer 1. I work at another community college and we have 2 summer sessions. So in that case, we would choose summer 2 if I took it in the second summer session. But at VBC, if you took summer school 3 summers in a row, you're just going to put summer 1 every time. So I went to summer 1, to summer school in 2018 as a freshman. It's completed. And I took chemistry, registered for chemistry 100. And I registered for weight training. But I realized I went on vacation. Okay, so I didn't finish these classes. I actually got failing grades. However, it's a bummer. I didn't pass them. However, I did retake them. Okay, I did retake them here. So you'll notice I took Chem 100 here and PE here. Okay, so now this is a really, really important part, guys. If you repeated a class at the same college, and you got a better grade, even if you didn't get a better grade, even if the second time, because I've seen this happen, or a student got an F and then they got an F again. But the first grade, because you repeated it, you're gonna put RP. RP for repeat. The second grade, you're gonna put RP. Okay, so if you repeated the same class at the same institution, the first time, you're gonna type in RP. The second time, you're gonna put the second grade, just like you see here. Because the whole purpose of me repeating a class is so my GPA can go up. If I keep the Fs here, like I had them, they're gonna calculate the Fs. That's gonna hurt my chances of getting into the Cal State. So make sure to type in physically, manually, I should say, RP. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there for a moment. Any questions on that part? Any questions? All right, we have a question. What do you put in the credit area? It says 45 and larger numbers. Let me see. Hopefully I can answer your question. 45, what do you put? In terms of, what do you mean, what do you put? If you can be a little bit more specific. So here, English 45, I put the course subject and number, and then the title, and then English subject, and then I have to find the units, and then the grade. And then I don't put that it's transferable because it's not. And then that's all you really put. Hold on. But if you audit a class, it usually doesn't show on your transcript, so you don't have to put it on. So when you audit a class, it won't show on the transcripts that you submit to the Cal States. So you don't have to put it on. So good question. Good question. I'm gonna give you guys another example, okay? Last semester, as you know, a lot of our students withdrew or got extenuating withdrawals because of everything that's happened. You can, so let's say last semester I took these classes, but I had to do an EW, right? So I just type it in and tab over. It was transferable. I still put the units. Oh, capital. It is transferable. I still put the units. And then I withdrew from Psychology 101. Okay, maybe it was an extraneous withdrawal. That's fine. And then you tab over. I repeated. I'll show you about the repeat. Some of you guys may have done what's called, if this doesn't ring a bell, if you're like, what is that? Then you haven't done it. Academic renewal. Academic renewal is a form to help, you submit to help raise your GPA. If you are a student who submitted academic renewal, then you're gonna type in AR. Okay, you just have to know the class and you have to know the units, all the information of the class. But again, if you withdrew, you got an extraneous withdrawal, you have to input that to the class. Okay, that's another one. And academic renewal as well. So bear with me, my computer's a little bit slower. Okay. Okay, yeah. So for the drop-down menu next to the credits, here, think of this right here as 2.00 units. Okay, so again, unless your class was 1.5 units, so you're gonna type in, the units, and you're just gonna type in 00. Okay, type in 00. So hopefully that answer, again, unless the class was 2.5 units, and you put 2.5. If the class was, it really does, it's usually 2.5 or 2. You put 2.00. Hopefully that answers your question. Why would somebody do academic renewal? Somebody would do academic renewal if they got bad grades, if they got D's and F's in the past, and they're not planning to take those classes anymore, and they want their GPA to be raised. But you have to submit an application to determine if you qualify. How would I know that? You would know if you completed an academic renewal, because you would have had to submit an application, and you would get an email that it was approved or not. So it's not something that's done automatically. Academic renewals, you actually have to submit an application, has to be reviewed. So yeah, so it's basically if a student got bad grades and you're never going to take those classes again, and you want to raise your GPA, remove those negative grades, those negative points from your GPA. It's, again, it doesn't remove the grade, but it removes the negative points. And at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want the negative points to be removed so it can help raise your GPA. So again, at this point, you would know if you did academic or no. We can always talk about it. Maybe if you're in that situation where in the past you didn't do so hot, you have bad grades, you're not going to repeat them, you can talk to that institution, it could be VVC or another college, and ask them, am I eligible or can I apply for academic renewal? That counselor or that department, the counseling department, will let you know if you qualify or not. Okay, so I've had students from like Santa Ana College do academic renewal, from Citrus College do it, Chaffey, it's all in the purpose to help raise your GPA. Okay, so again, if you haven't done it yet, you're not going to put academic renewal, only if you've already done it. But again, if you do it by January, you can still update that. All right, so let me go really quick before I answer a couple more questions. I see I'll be with you in one moment. I have to save it. Hold on. What did I do? Okay, so here you're going to add your classes in fall. Okay, and again, we're not going to put grades. I just put grades for example purposes, but because it's still in progress, we're going to put in progress. Okay, so then I don't put any grades, which is absolutely fine. You don't put any grades for fall, for winter, or for spring. And now you see I'm a sophomore. Remember, I'm not a junior or a senior. So halfway through your career, you're first half freshman, second half sophomore. In January, like I said, you're going to go back and you're going to be like, I'm done, completed, right? So this is in January. So then you're going to input all the grades. So let's just say for hypothetical purposes, I got straight A's this semester. Okay, and that's going to really help my GPA a lot. Okay, so again, first, so that's in January completed. But for now, we're going to put in progress. Okay, and one other thing, if you are repeating a class this semester that you got an F in or a D in last semester, you still have to put that D and F. You're not going to put RP because you haven't officially repeated it yet. In January, you're going to put RP. So again, you only put RP, like in this case, I put RP for Psych, in this case, I can't put Psych 215, I got an F, but I can't put RP because I don't have a grade yet. I'll put RP in January. So here, I'm put, let's say I got a D, I want an F. F's are not my friends. So let's say I got a D in the spring 2020. Okay, but I'm taking it this semester, but I cannot put RP because I haven't repeated it. In January, once I get the grade, I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to put RP because again, I want them to update my GPA and recalculate my GPA. Only put RP if it's at the same college, same institution, and you repeated it here. So you see RP, B, and A. There was another example I had. I did in Communications 109. I got a bad grade, but I put RP because I repeated it and I got a B. Okay, so let me go in and answer a couple of these questions. What does guidance class fall under when it comes to subject? That's a good question. Go ahead and put counseling. So if you took guidance 50, 51, 100, 105, 107, 101, it's under the counseling subject. What if you took a class more than twice? Then you're going to go ahead and put that class as many times as you took it. Okay, so if you took it the first time and let's say you got an F and you took it the second time and you got a D and you took it a third time and you got a C, you're going to put RP first time, RP second time, C third time. Okay, so RP, C, or B, or maybe you got an A. So hopefully that answers your question. What if I'm repeating the class this semester? So if you're repeating the class this semester, so if you took it last year, you're not going to put RP yet because we don't have the grade yet. So you're still going to put the original grade. You're repeating the class, which is fine, but we don't have a grade. So you're still going to put the original grade that you got in the previous semester. Not until January, you're going to go back and then you're going to have the grade. Then you're going to put RP in the original grade. You're going to put the RP until January, but not now because it's not officially repeated. Excuse me. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question, but I'll stay here for a little bit after. So now let's say I inputted all my classes, my college coursework. Everything's good. Have I completed entering everything? Yes, I have. Let me put my little pin. All right, yes, I have. So click no, yes. Save your transcripts. Final thing, we talked about the golden 4. Golden 4, so usually it auto-populates, but sometimes it doesn't. So here, communications, it auto-populated. And AP, remember, I took AP English example, so I had to input it myself. Critical thinking, and then Psych 215. Even if it's in progress, that's completely fine, but you do have to add in the golden 4. And you save and continue. And all our circles are green. Again, remember I had to come back to EOP to finish that part. But all our circles are finished. If you want to add a program, you can add a program. You can add a program all the way until December 15th at this point because the deadline got extended to December 15th. But as I said, I wouldn't wait, guys. Just submit this sucker so you guys can have some study time for your finals. And that's a stressor that you have, that it's behind you. Please check your email consistently. Please check your spam and junk mail. Please create your portals or your accounts for each university you apply to and check your to-do list at least 2 to 3 times a week. You do not want to miss a deadline, and a deadline to be the reason why you were denied admissions. And the reason I say that is because I've seen it happen and I don't want it to happen to you. Okay. We checked our fee waiver already. It's going to tell me if I got it. There we did. Awesome. If you didn't get it, again, it's $70 per application. If you want to appeal it, you have to appeal it directly to each Cal State. Okay, to each Cal State. Let me see, I don't want it to submit, but let's see. So I'm not going to go further. It's just going to give me a breakdown of everything that I put. And just don't want to continue to payment. Okay, I'm not going to send it because it's going to send. So here, see, it's telling me, okay, we got you covered for 4, but you got to pay $70 still. Okay, so which I completely understand. Again, unless I want to appeal it. Oh no, you still only get 4 regardless. You can't appeal a 5th one. Okay, so with that being said, any questions? I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope you got, the information you needed. As I stated before, we will have today from 2 to 6 drop-ins. So if you wanted us to check your application, make sure to have it, as much of it completed as possible. The deadline is December 15th, but today we'll have from 2 to 6. Tomorrow we'll have sessions from 9 to 12 and 3 to 6. So you're more than welcome to jump in, and one of us, a counselor or a staff member, will help you. And we are excited that you will be submitting this application sooner than later because it's time. And usually the deadline actually is November 30th. So this year the Cal States extended it till December 4th because of the holiday. But then they extended it even further because of, the current circumstances we're living in. So next year, we don't know what will happen, but we're actually, in theory, in the past 10 years that I've been doing this, it's been November 30th. So we're actually behind. They've given an extension. So if this were December 3rd last year, we would be way too late. So please submit the application. I just don't want you to encounter a glitch in the system or something that's going to hinder you and for you to, worry or stress. So I congratulate you for doing it. I hope to see you guys somehow, some way. And I'll send emails, with reminders, so be mindful of that just to make sure to do your FAFSA. Make sure to submit your application to admissions@vbc.edu. And if you do want to apply for EOPS at VBC, please apply. Let me actually give you the link to that because, again, they are taking applications. And if you are taking 9 units now, and you'll be taking at least 9 units next semester, you can qualify, and they'll give you a $300 book voucher. And the reason why I keep saying that for each semester, because they told me to share that with you guys. So I'm just putting a plug in, and it's a great thing to add to your resume, okay? Or at least to your academic resume. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add it in there. There it is. Grab it if you wanna apply. It's pretty simple. I thank you for joining us. I'll stick around for a few minutes if you have any questions. And I hope you have a great day, a great rest of your semester and finals week. And please submit your application. And I appreciate that you came in, and hopefully you got a lot more positive information. All right, so I'm going to answer a question. I have received an email saying I'm eligible to transfer, but how do I search up exactly how much credits I have? So you can go to your unofficial transcripts and count the units based off your transferable units. So 100 and 200 level classes are transferable. So again, yeah, you can get your SAR. It's really easy. If you already did your FAFSA for this year, you can go inside your FAFSA and grab your SAR. It's really, it's a PDF. So perfect. So make sure to submit it to EOPS and all the other documents that they ask for, the application, and I think, and something else, I believe, in the contract. But yeah, perfect. So now you are on your way to EOPS potentially. So good. I hope you get in. Is there any way to get a hold of counselors right now? I've been told schedules. Yeah, it's been a crazy semester. You know, I can help answer. I'm a counselor too. I can help answer some questions. And I can look into things. Let me stop the stream.